Okay. Is this you, Patrick, or me? I don't know.
It's you.
Okay, so again, the resources, make sure that you read all of the resources, and there may be quite a few each week. But make sure you are reading through all of your resources, and also the step-by-step guide. Another good resource is iTunes and YouTube. Believe it or not, there are tons of videos on YouTube and iTunes that show you how to complete certain problems in SPSS. So if you need to know how to do a histogram in SPSS, you can go to YouTube and typing in histogram in SPSS, and you'll get videos on people showing you step-by-step how to do that. But beware that there are different terminologies used by different professors at different universities. So if the terminology we use in this course is different than the terminology that you're hearing by the person in the video, don't be alarmed. It may mean the same thing, they just may be using different words to describe it. But again, I would definitely make sure I'm using, if you get stuck and you can't wait to get an appointment with one of us, or you don't want to wait to get a response in the study group area, then by all means use Google, use YouTube, and see if you can find that. That's actually how I learned to use SPSS several years ago, YouTube and Google. I wasn't lucky enough to have a peer mentor because we didn't have them yet. So I taught myself SPSS through YouTube and Google, and now I'm a teaching assistant teaching others how to use it. So believe me, you can learn a lot by looking at YouTube or iTunes. I didn't use iTunes, but I do know that there's some videos there.
There are also videos in the resources section, and
yes.
When I took the course, I would watch the video and I would stop it like every sentence, and then I also figured out that you can actually print out a transcript of the video. So I actually found that helpful because I would literally take it one step at a time and try to figure out how in the video they were doing the problems, and that helped me simplify it as well. So take advantage of all of the resources that you have available.
Absolutely. And also those videos that you're looking at, currently I think what you'll get when you download SPSS is version 21, and so the videos may be using version 19. I've even seen videos using version 16. The concept still is basically the same. It may look slightly different. The toolbar here in SPSS may be slightly different in different versions, but if you just look around, hover over the different tabs there, you may be able to find what the person in the video is talking about, just in case they're using a different version. So just play around with it. Another good resource is actually the help tab here in SPSS. There are tutorials that I really suggest you going through. Also, the rubrics in the course, and the rubric is actually in the course info area of the classroom. So if you click on that course info area, it will take you to the rubric. And that's here, and if you click on that rubric, it will actually tell you exactly what is expected for you to turn in for that assignment and what you need to do to get full credit. And so if you just go through that rubric step by step, it should show you. And again, I'm sorry, I really wanted to show you those, but like I said, my internet is going slow with this ice storm we're having. Well, here it popped up finally. And so you see for week 1, problem 1, part A, that you're asked to list and explain the values for age and the variable age group. And it's 2.5 possible points. Also producing a frequency table for age group, 2.5 possible points. And so if you do those things, then you should get 5 points. Some of the other rubrics go into more detail, talking about the interpretation or whatever you're expected for that week. Okay, the library guides. Those library guides, and again, these PowerPoints are in the classroom, and so if you download the PowerPoint, you can get this link. For some reason, it's not letting me open it, but you can go to that link, and there are many resources there, actually within that. And I'm putting these over in the chat area for you. One is biostatistics support, and the other one is just statistics support. But if you go to those, you'll see a lot of different documents that you can give you some more information. I think I skipped some slides, did I? Maybe not.
I think you covered everything except the tips for success, slide 17.
Oh, okay, here. Again, I already mentioned print out the study guides and label them. Just putting at the top of the study guide, it will already say this was week 1 or week 2. But if that week you were going over t-test or chi-square, and you'll hear more about these as you go on the course. But you may want to just write that at the top, label them, put them in the folder or something, so you'll have easy access to them again when it's time for the final. Another tip is to begin your assignment early in the week. You don't want to wait till Friday or Saturday to start on the application assignments that's due Sunday, not just because, you know, it's good time management, but because a lot of times you may have a problem with your SPSS, or you may get stuck on something if your SPSS isn't working, or whatever problem you're having. You want to give yourself time to be able to contact one of us to try to get some assistance. Another thing is the quizzes. You want to take those early in the week because you can retake the quiz, but you have to request from your instructor to retake it early enough in the week so that they can reset it for you. And I'm not sure the day, I don't know if it's day 4 or day 5 that you have to ask to retake it by. I'm not sure, but you can ask. Day 4? Okay, yeah. So if you wait to day 4 to take your quiz and you want to retake it, chances are you may not be able to retake it because you haven't given yourself enough time to ask the instructor to reset it for you. He may not see your request until, you know, the next day. By that time, it may be too late. Another tip for success is ask questions from your instructor, from us, and from other students. Again, that study group area, even if one of the peer mentors haven't answered your question yet, there may be another student in the course that had the same problem and already had an appointment with one of us, and so they know how to do it. Or they may be versed in SPSS, and they may know anyway. So I always ask questions. You know, they can be very helpful. Also, in saying that, when you're in the study group area, I would suggest reading all of those posts and not just going in and putting your question and not reading the other post in the study group area. Someone may have already asked and had your question answered. So really go through and look at those. So you're not waiting possibly another 24 hours to get an answer from us. It may already be posted there. Make an appointment if you need one of us. Use the stat support at Walden U email address. Read all of the resources. Use that rubric, and again, study together. Utilize that study group area.
You know, another thing to add to that, Kelly, is make sure you read the question and take the question at face value. Sometimes I'll get messages from students and they're freaking out, and when we go back and actually look at the question, they were getting a lot of anxiety about something that was not even being asked. So, and I learned this the hard way myself, is sometimes just go back and, okay, what is the question that's being asked? And take it at face value. Try not to overread into it. Just answer the questions that are being asked. And like Kelly said, use the rubric, and that'll help you make sure that you're actually answering those specific questions.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? You can either type them in or we can unmute you guys if you want to ask a question.
This may create a lot of noise, but
yeah, if you have mute on your phone, the capability to mute your phone, and you don't have a question, go ahead and just mute your phone.
I just unmuted everybody, so we're wide open.
Yes, you can make an appointment with any of the peer mentors. If your peer mentor is not, well, any of the peer mentors in this, in your course, let me pull that up again. As you can see, there's several peer mentors here, but they're not all in biostatistics. So you'll see here, like Heather is nursing 8200. So that's a statistics course, but it's not biostatistics. So make sure you're choosing one of the peer mentors who are in your course. And if your peer mentor is not available at that time, then sure, I don't mind, asking questions, answering questions from other students. That's not a problem. So any peer mentor that's available at the time that you need. And this grayed out area is unavailable time, by the way. How long is the quiz? They vary. It just depends on how. I don't know. Are the quizzes timed?
The quizzes are timed. The quizzes are an hour.
Okay.
Now the final is not a timed. The final is just like the weekly application assignments. So
right.
Some people do well with timed quizzes and some people don't. But don't worry if you struggled with the quizzes. Be sure to retake it. But that's not how the final exam works. And we'll have another webinar before the final.
Okay.
And the quizzes, question. The quizzes this week, we have calculations.
Mm-hmm. Now, many of the calculations are actually done in SPSS.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you are setting up the problem in SPSS correctly, then, some of us are old enough to remember having to actually do some of the calculations by hand, which was pretty painful and prone to error. But most of them are done within SPSS. There actually is some calculation this week, but it's pretty basic.
Straightforward. Okay. Thank you.
The question about the webinar being during the week, that's a good suggestion. What we are doing is recording these. So we will, once we finish, we will send out the recording of this. And if you're unable to attend during the actual webinar, you will be able to go back and listen to the recording.
Yeah, because there are some students who are on different continents even. So I had one student say she stayed up all night so that she could. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning or something where she was. And so, yeah, don't do that. Just listen to the recording. No need to stay up if you're in a different time zone or get off work early or whatever it may be. Just listen to the recording, and if you have a question, then you can just contact one of us.
So we can listen to the recording just by dialing the same number?
No. What we'll do is once the session stops tonight, I'll be able to upload it, and then I'll put it into I put it into both Screencast and YouTube, and I'll send it out to it takes a couple hours to do that. So probably by tomorrow morning, I'll send it out to all the peer mentors, and then they'll post it into your study group area.
Study group, okay, all right. Okay.
I think there's a question about the quiz.
In relation to the quiz too, it is timed, but it is also open book. So that's where you do want to have all of your resources there available to you, so you can refer to the step-by-step guide. Don't forget reading the text also. There's a lot of good information in the text, but have all of that stuff, at your fingertips when you start the quiz.
And the quizzes, they are not due by day 4, but you have to. The quizzes are due. You have to take the quiz by day 7.
Right.
So let's see here. It says to take the quiz by day 7 each week. But in order to retake the quiz, you have to by day 4 send an email to your instructor with the title week and whatever the number is, quiz retake request. And there's some more steps there, so make sure you're looking at, and this is under the quiz instructions that I'm looking at. So again, it wasn't due by day 4. You just have to request to take the quiz by day 4. It's due by day 7. Okay, is there
any other questions?
Thank you very much.
was someone saying something?
For the I just have a question for the first assignment. Do we have to manually type anything in where it says that the participants are from 1 through 6?
Did you catch the question? I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
I didn't quite catch it either. Can you repeat the question?
For the first week's assignment, where it asks, I don't have it in front of me because I'm at work, but it asks about to list like the variables, I guess, to list from 1 to 6. My question is, do we have to do anything manually to input data for the first initial assignment?
I'm pulling it up now, but I think what it was asking you, and I don't have it up while we're waiting for it, I'll pull up my SPSS, and it's asking you what the variables were. So again, when you're in SPSS and you go to variable view, you can see the actual variables 1 through 4. Well, this is for the step-by-step guide. So this is not the answers for your actual assignment, but for instance, in this data set, you see these variables. So your variables were alcohol consumption, age, income, and bladder cancer. And the possible responses are here. So either, say for instance, for bladder cancer, the responses were either no or yes. And so let's see if it has come up yet. Yeah, here we go. So your first application asks you, using the variable view in SPSS, list what each of the values of the categories assigned for age represent. And so the variable is actually age group. And so when you're in SPSS, again, just click on variable view and go to values for age group. And when you do that, you see this little blue box pops up, and you can click on that. And it gives you what each variable, what each value means for that variable. And for age group, whatever they are, that's what your answer would be.
And use the step-by-step guide for this. If you go to page 4 the bottom of page 3 and the top of page 4. It's a different data set. It's only an example, but it kind of shows you how they're doing that. So again, you know, make the step-by-step guide your friend when you're doing these. Yeah. Again, exactly what I just showed you on the computer is written out for you right here. Yeah, it's step 3. Not step 3, page 3. So it tells you step 1.
So the alcohol and the bladder cancer are just examples.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, but they want us to do the BD1?
Yes.
That's okay, correct. For the application.
Yeah, okay. So each week it will be like that. Each week the step-by-step guide will have an example using a different data set.
Okay.
Right. So the one that you're asked to use for your application assignment will be different than what the step-by-step guide shows you.
Right.
So make sure you're not, you know, going through the step-by-step guide.
Okay. I was confused because they had so many, and I was like, are we supposed to do all of those or just, okay,
no.
It's just the one. Okay.
Right. But again, when you're actually doing the actual assignment, you can just substitute, like for step 1 says, in data set alcohol _bladder_CA. So just substitute, if your application says use BD1.save an age group, just substitute the word, you know, in your mind. Or it's cross it out and write it in.
I did look that up. I did see that for the application assignment. I did see that the variables in that already.
Right. And then see for step 2, it tells you step by step. When you're in SPSS, you'll select analyze descriptive statistics and frequencies. And it goes on to tell you choose what I don't know what it used here, income. We used income here. And I also think there was a typo. It says you, so don't be alarmed in this step-by-step guide. Number 1, it says to get the frequency of age, simply highlight the variable income. Do you see that here? That's just a typo, so don't be alarmed. It should say to get the frequency of income, highlight the variable income. And then you'll see that the frequency table here for income. So that is just a typo in your, I don't know if it's been changed for this quarter and it's right in the classroom now, because this is just the guide that I've
the application says frequency table of age group.
Right. So yeah, again, this is just an example. So when you're doing your assignment, I mean, you can just walk through this step-by-step guide and scratch through age and write age group, or just in your mind know that you're supposed to use age group instead of age,
and not
for the actual for the actual assignment,
and not drinks, not number of drinks.
Right.
Okay.
Are there any more questions?
Well, I'm just kind of skeptical. I missed the part of the discussion with how to get this to Word. How to get you have to paste the whole column into Word.
You don't have to cut and paste it. What you can if you would like. Let me pull up that output again. You can actually cut and paste this.
Because when I right-click, I'm not getting. It says to select last output. I'm not getting
click on the. Actually, click on it first, and then right-click on it. If you click on the page itself, you will get that. But if you click on the actual table, it will give you the option to cut.
Right-click right in the table itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's on the table. I was just using the example one for alcohol. And, okay, when I click on it, yes, thank you.
Okay. And then you see their export is also one of the options.
Excuse me?
You can either cut or copy. You can also export it.
Yes, I see that. Export to how?
Yeah.
If you the upside to exporting it is, say if you have an assignment and there are a lot more than just most of these assignments, the output would be a lot longer than this. Even if you're using SPSS outside of this class, when you're writing your thesis or dissertation and you're using SPSS, you'll have a lot of information. And again, you can just cut and paste, but if you have a problem, if for some reason you got your answer wrong, or there was an issue and you got some type of syntax error popped up, and you ask for help from your peer mentor, if you have exported this entire output and saved a copy of it, we can actually look at your output and look at the notes that are here in your output and try to figure out where you put the information in wrong, or if maybe
and Kelly went over
wrong.
this earlier in the webinar, so when we send out the recording,
I missed it. Okay.
Yeah, you go back through and just watch that part of the webinar, and that'll help you, I think, with that with that question.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Were there any more questions before we end?
All right. Well, we want to thank everybody. I will send out the recording as soon as probably either late tonight or probably more likely first thing tomorrow morning. And I'll send it to all the peer mentors, so they'll be able to post it for you in each of your courses.
Yeah, and again, the webinar, the PowerPoint will be in your classroom too, so you can actually get a copy of the PowerPoint with all of the links that were actually in the webinar again.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Everyone have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
You too.